Welcome to episode 2 of Naughty Fun Time with Uncle Paulie. I'm Paul McKinnon, aka Uncle Paulie, with Anglophone School District North, current phys ed lead. Without further ado, we're going to proceed to giving the overhand an extension. To that end, we will be tying the Fisherman's Knot, which is a dandy way to connect two pieces of cordage of similar size or diameter, as well as the Fisherman's Eye, which creates a secure loop that could be both linked to with another piece of cordage, in the case of often in fishing, as well as a way to secure a loop around an object you want the loop to remain fixed. Folks, it's a big old nasty world out there, and having a couple of practical knots, such as these fisherman's friends, will come in handy in whatever you may encounter around the bend. Let's say I have something to dry in the garage temporarily. I can put a fixed loop, being the fisherman's, perhaps hook a carabiner through it. It's one method of attachment. However, I discover that my line is too short to reach the far wall. What do? Well, let's put together a shorter piece of cordage attached up above, and I can marry it together with. Grab your cordage and let's take these overhands to the next level. What I'm going to do is have one above and one below. I'm going to start with the yellow one below, and I'm going to come up and over and tie a simple overhand on the yellow cordage, which would contain the blue cordage within it, and then with the blue cordage being above, it's going to point downward and come up and around, create an overhand on a cordage over top of the yellow cordage. Now, what I'm going to do is simply pull the two together. It appears to be a continuous line, so that's why this is a popular knot, because it basically has the line continue to act as one. It could be putting together two different varying strengths of monofilament. Next, we're going to take the overhand knot and expand it to form a knot called the Fisherman's Eye. This is going to be the end result. You are going to start off with a fair amount of slack or excess cordage to work with. You're going to tie an overhand knot about 18 inches or so from the end. If you're using cordage, this can of course be used with monofilament line as well. Then I'm going to run, so I've created an overhand knot. I'm going to create a bite by running the working end through the hoop I've created with the overhand. And then with the working end, I'm going to tie another overhand over top and around of the working end. So now I pull on those two overhand knots. They will seat tightly together and form a very secure loop. A little shortcut to consider when tying the Fisherman's Eye is to work with a bite rather than the working end to achieve the first part of the knot. So I'm going to create a loop. I'm going to reach inside the loop and pull out a bite rather than the working end itself. And then I'm going to take that working end and wrap it around the standing part, and which gives me the ability just to pull on the bite to secure the knot. So it's a quicker step, and it's pretty slick. Time now for a little segment of exploring Uncle Paulie's t-shirt. Today, for your viewing pleasure, I'm not wearing it. In this case, this is a Double Fisherman. Here is the Double Fisherman's as featured on my t-shirt. Let's go ahead and tie that. Contrary to popular belief, it's not simply two fishermen. You have, instead of a overhand knot being tied over top of 2 pieces of cordage, you're doing what's called the double overhand. With that, this is also serves as a great stopper. So we'll go ahead and show you how to do that. To achieve the double fisherman's knot, I'm going to come around. In this case, it would be the yellow rope being the standing part. I'm going to come over and around a second time. Then I'm going to pass the working end through the 2 blue cordage loops that I've created. Pull that fairly snug. Then I'm with the other portion, the yellow, come around once and a second time back towards the original double fisherman's, and then proceed through my 2 loops with the working end. Pull that fairly snug. That gives me 2 nested together double overhands, which yields what appears to be a continuous strand. It's very strong. As promised, here's my nugget of knot wisdom for the day. Some seem to work really well with others, while others seem to cause nothing but friction. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this second episode of Knotty Fun Time with Uncle Paulie. In episode 3, I hope to showcase the lariat loop, one of my favorite knots. Yet again, the overhand in a different direction with the daisy chain. Stay tuned.